Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the MEAC Digital Network and the 2026 MEAC Conference bi-weekly women's basketball coaches video conference, proudly presented by TowneBank. I'm Lynn Thompson, and today, for our second time of the season, we'll break down the action, we'll talk about the people, dive into the storylines that are MEAC women's basketball. We'll go to the coaches to recap the matchups from the past 2 weeks, and we'll look ahead to what's next across the conference. Then that'll tee it up for the media to ask more focused questions about issues and storylines behind the scores. For today's sessions, our media members are limited to one question per coach, with additional opportunities as time permits. To participate, simply use the raised hand feature, remain muted until you're recognized, and please remember to lower your hand once your question has been asked. With that in mind, let's talk about MEAC women's basketball. You know, we had a lot of action since our last show, but nothing compared to what Mother Nature did to the MEAC schedule this past week, with weather causing postponement to half of the Saturday's games. So let's give you an update on those games. This past week, we saw a disruption in the conference schedule due to weather, and games affected, including these. Last Thursday's game, UMES at North Carolina Central was postponed, and a makeup date will be announced shortly. Also, this past Saturday's game, UMES at South Carolina State was postponed and rescheduled for February 4th in Orangeburg at 5:30 p.m. This past Saturday's game, Del State at Central was postponed, and a makeup date will also be announced shortly. So here's where we stand at this point in the season in the conference standings. Across the leaderboard, UMES at top with 4-0. Howard and Norfolk State tied second place, 5-1 each. In the middle of the pack, South Carolina State, Coppin State, Morgan State, and the remaining other standings are brought up by Del State and North Carolina Central. But of course, there's still a lot of ball left to be played, and we have not even reached the halfway point in league play. So with that in mind, let's take our trip around the league and hear directly from our head coaches as they recap the opening stretch of MEAC play. Look ahead to what's next as the 2026 season continues to unfold. Even in the midst of this winter storm, our league schedule continues to heat up. We'll start in Baltimore, checking with the Coppin State Eagles, where first-year head coach Darrell Mosley is standing by. I see you there this morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you well. We can hear you well. Coach, you continue your first year in Baltimore. Now, since we last chatted with you, the Eagles had some big games, including hosting the number 2 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. I mean, the eyes of the nation were among you and upon you in a David and Goliath kind of matchup. But in spite of the outcome, it was beneficial to your program in so many ways. Let's talk about the basketball aspect of it and then the branding aspect of it.
I thought it was an unbelievable atmosphere. Dawn Staley's a trailblazer. She's for the culture. So just, being able to come and play at Coppin in Baltimore, I thought it gave us some great visibility, some great exposure, some great TV time, which, helps with recruiting. But just, the opportunity to play against a legendary coach and some players that you'll look up and see in the WNBA one day. I just wanted my team to come out and compete and put on a good showing, and I thought we did just that.
Great, Coach. And you follow that one up by hosting Howard and Coppin. But your team kind of went cold in the second and third quarters in the 64-51 loss to the Bison. I mean, you were so cold, you only shot 27%. But the Eagles stayed in the game by out-rebounding Howard 39-28 while tallying, 18 second chance points. But on the other side of that coin, you turned the ball over 24 times, which led to Howard scoring 18 points in the game. Was that, in your opinion, the difference in that game?
No, absolutely. Howard, we just gave up too many second chance early, which end up, putting them on the free throw line. I think they shot way too many free throws in that first quarter, and it got our post players in foul trouble. So we literally end up having to play small ball just to try to get through that first half with both my post players and point guard all having 2 fouls. And so I thought that kind of threw us off a little bit and wanted to come out and execute and get back in the game in the third quarter. But like you said, we just remained cold and could never get back in the game.
Yeah, Barris McBride, your coach on the floor, she led you with 13 points. She hit all of her free throws. Sydney Burris also finished in double figures. Jocelyn Hartfield, 4 of 7 shot from the floor, including a career point of a career high 9 points. Let's talk about this young lady. Is she emerging now in the program, getting her shine?
Well, Jocelyn had her best game, and then she went down in that third quarter. I don't know if you guys saw that, where I literally had to go and carry her off the floor. So I'm just waiting for some X-rays and MRIs to come back. But she's kind of been plagued with injuries her whole career, and she wanted to give it one last go this year, and so she's missed quite a few games with some early injuries. Just having multiple knee surgeries over her career, but she's a tough kid. We're just waiting for the results. She wants to finish her career out, but depending on what the doctor says.
Okay, Coach. Let's talk about the team's game against Norfolk State, 69-58 at Norfolk. This was something you actually opened the game with a 7-0 lead, but you couldn't keep up with the hot shooting. Let's talk about that particular game when you hit the road, trying to really regain some lost momentum.
Yeah, we just got to do a better job sticking, to the scout and knowing personnel. Debria Clark got hot. She was all over the scouting report. And, we're not locating her in transition where she was able to get some wide open looks, and a shooter and a scorer like her, once you hit a couple, that rim gets much wider for her. And so had to call a timeout and just say, if we got to find somebody on her team, it has to be her. And so once she got clicking, he continued to, draw up sets for her. And like I said, that rim got wider for her, but we just got to do a better job communicating, sticking with the scout, going over on ball screens, and we got caught going under a couple of times on her, and she made us pay.
Okay, Coach. Tomorrow night you scheduled to host Washington at Ventus. Any update on the status of that game due to the weather?
We're supposed to make a decision here this morning. I talked with their coach last night, and we wanted to just kind of, go out and see what outside is looking like. We did get quite a lot of snow here, and so we want people to be safe and comfortable to be able to come out and watch the game. Most importantly, being able to prepare and get to practice today, and so we're not able to do that. We're looking at pushing it to next Tuesday. I believe that's February the 3rd, and so a decision on that game will be made here shortly.
Okay, even though it's cold, you're looking for the Bears to get hot, right? Because at 2-4, you got a lot of momentum that you got to regain.
Absolutely, absolutely. We is right here in the thick of things. We played quite a few teams close. Maryland Shore was one we, a little upset about that we let go going into overtime. Just got to get a stop. And then it was just a tough stretch for us. Maryland Shore, then you got South Carolina, then you got Howard, and then Norfolk. And I'm like, man, we put this schedule together. And but that was a tough stretch that we just had to get through. And we just got to get back in the lab and continue to compete and, like I said, stick to the game plan.
Okay, Coach, that's it for me. Let's go to the media now. Open it up for you this morning. First question comes from Rob Knox. Good morning to you, Rob.
Good morning, everybody. Mose, good to see you, man.
See
felt like I said a lot to you the last couple of weeks, which I never mind. Sydney, back-to-back double-digit games. I know that she had some nice moments early in the season. What can you share about Sydney and her journey to Coppin? What did you see in her? How has she developed for you in your program?
Well, I mean, you kind of know the story. When I got hired, it was a depleted roster. I had to go and find 14, and so just trying to turn over every rock. Look at every case scenario, whether it's portal, NAIA, high school, and so just kind of digging through the portal. She was a kid that wasn't playing a lot, but looked at some of her numbers and was getting like 6-3, 6-4, and I'm like, that's better than nothing. And so we brought her in. A kid that wanted a bigger role, had some solid post moves and just wanted to play hard. But here lately, I'm challenging my post that it can't just be our guard scoring every night and having an impact. And so looking for the post to step up inside and get some paint touches and finish around the rim, and most importantly, rebound and put the ball back in.
Okay. You said one question. I just want to follow up with
Go right ahead. Go ahead.
What did you like about her effort against Howard at Norfolk State? I thought she did a nice job against Howard early. Started off strong, and then Norfolk looked like she did kind of similar things.
Yeah, I thought at Howard she played very aggressive. I wish she would have been able to pull back on that second foul, so I didn't have to pull her out as quickly. And same against Norfolk. I thought she was aggressive. They're going to try to lean on pressuring your guards, and so we got the ball inside. And I thought she was aggressive. Attacking their post and finishing around the rim and getting to the free throw line.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Rob. Let's go now to Charles Harmon, the Minnesota spokesman recorder. Charles.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well.
Anything else you want to add about the matchup that you had with Don Staley and how important that is? Because you play against Black coaches, but importantly, when a Black coach from the HBCU goes against a PWI Black coach, regardless whether it's in the early season or mid-season like your game, how important that is for visibility and for just importance in that case.
I think it's very important. You won't get a lot of other, Power 4 schools that will want to come and play at a HBCU. And just kind of talking to Dawn, and she said she wanted her team to kind of see, what it's like and kind of what we have to go through and the resources we have. And so I think it was a challenge to her and an eye opener to her team. But just to get that draw, from a legendary coach, I just don't think any other coach will be able to get that draw of attendance base where, she even stayed after the game 45 minutes, just, signing her book, taking selfies and pictures and signing autographs. And so I just thought it was a great opportunity to be a part of and, just creating history. And for her to be able to do that, I thought it was just a remarkable, effort to her and who she is as a person and as a coach.
Thank you, Coach, and stay safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Charles. And you stay safe out there too as well, okay?
Thank
Coach,
you.
Coach, we're working to get, this weather is affecting a lot of coaches and everybody else getting on. But just a couple of questions to ask you that maybe folks don't know behind the scenes. Let's talk about the weather and how it affects practice time and your ability to even do that on campus. Tell us how that's going for you.
But definitely impacts because they canceled school and we actually were supposed to have a men's game this evening against Howard. So that was already canceled over the weekend. And so if school's out, we have some kids staying off campus. I'm about 25 minutes out myself. And so just me going outside, yesterday and last night, I'm seeing all the cars are plowed in and it's pretty high to be able to get your vehicles out. And so I'm like, I know if it's going to be tough for me to get in to campus, I know, my players that have the same, scenario as well. And so with us having a game tomorrow, I've already canceled practice today. And I'm kind of like, if we do keep this game tomorrow, you're literally showing up and playing with a walkthrough and film on the same day as the game. So it's an adjustment. But, if we want to get this game in, that's the sacrifice you have to make. And if it's not, safe or we feel comfortable with, how outside looks, we'll just go ahead and push the game back to next week.
The other question I want to raise to you is this. Let's talk about treatment. Rehab of injuries, because when school is closed like this, difficult to get to the training room, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And my trainer has been texting with me since we were driving back, from Norfolk, because she's like, Coach, what's the plan? My two daughters' schools, it's already been canceled. And so if you are going to have a practice and treatment, I need to know ahead of time so I can find, a sitter or just coverage for my kids. And so right now practice was canceled. So we got to, go outside and get some of that ice, from the snow and put it on our knees and ankles for right now until we can get back into the training room.
Have you dealt with situations like this before?
No, not this severe, and it's a welcome back for me as well, being in Arizona the last 3 years, where it's 70-degree weather around this time. And so I went out and put something on my Instagram story last night, just, man, this is a lot of snow. And everybody's kind of saying, welcome back to the East Coast, Coach. So I thought it was pretty unique and funny to see.
And then the final question, and you can elaborate on this, is, okay, this extended pause in your schedule, What does that do to momentum if you got it? And what does that do to your ability to gain some momentum when you have a pause like this? What do you prefer?
I think for us is much needed right now. And if you guys been paying attention to us, we're literally playing 6, 7 deep. I got a lot of kids playing too many minutes, which is expected in year one when you're just trying to put, a team together and you need people to step up. But we've been without multiple players the last couple of games. And so it gives them some more time to get some treatments and recovery and kind of continue to talk to the doctors on where they're at. But for us, I just think, having that tough stretch of those 4 I just named, it's tough, for a team when you're just kind of taking a pound in every game. And so the recovery is needed. The much film time is needed. And, just got to keep them motivated and hungry and getting them back in the lab to prepare for our next opponent.
Well, we heard Rob ask you about Sydney Burris, but what about Shania Gamble? She had 7 rebounds in your latest game. All of those came in the first half too. But let's talk about her for a moment.
Man, she's been huge, especially on the glass. I think she's probably one of the most athletic players I have. Just trying to get her to slow down. Even in the game against South Carolina, she went up and grabbed 11 boards, and it was very unique that we out-rebounded South Carolina. I think that was the biggest stat that I was most proud of my team about. Just having a game plan to just, dig in on our post players and just kind of crash hard. And so to come out with the win on the glass, but she's another one that's just kind of needs this time off, has kind of been banged up, missed our last game and didn't play the second half against Howard. And so just playing and logging a lot of minutes that, trying to get them back in the lineup.
Well, we certainly wish you nothing but the best. As you, this is just like when the play breaks down, the clock's going down, you tell your point guard, you got to improvise, right?
Absolutely.
You got to be able to create when the clock is running down. And I think that's probably what the entire league is doing, and maybe the entire Midwest and East Coast is doing right now. Is having to make it go as it comes around. You just got to create, improvise, and I appreciate what you were doing and spending the time with us. So we're gonna let you go and then do what you got to do, Coach, to get ready for the game if it does occur tomorrow. If not, we wish you the best of luck. Okay.
All right, appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Take care. All right. What we're going to do, y'all, is we're going to shift some gears, and this weather is causing problems to everybody. We do have a couple of coaches on. We have not been able to get Delaware State yet, and I know they're having some problems up there, but nonetheless, we're going to be able to pivot, and we do have a couple other coaches who have joined, and I do know that we do have Coach Malikah Willis, and I see her there. Coach Willis, how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you so much. We're having to pivot a little bit. This weather is causing problems with all of our institutions and virtually everybody on the East Coast at this point in time. I think the storm is blown through the Midwest, and now it's affecting the East Coast. So we appreciate you kind of joining us a little earlier than you were scheduled to join us. But I just want to talk to you for a minute about your leading Hawks. You've had some downtime over the last couple of days with weather affecting the schedule and half the league having to sit out. Has the postponement of the 2 games that you were scheduled to play stalled momentum in your case, or has you allowed you extra time to work on specific things and get rest and rehab to needed players?
Yeah, I think the latter. It definitely gave us time to really hone in on a lot of the things that we've been saying in film and in scout that we were not correcting. So I'm sure if you ask our players, they probably rather play than be in practice right now, because we really have been going over and harping on a lot of things and making sure that we get it right.
Yeah. So you last played on the 15th of January. That was a 68-61 win over Coppin State. That pushed your record to 4-0. And that was in overtime, Coach. So this 4-0 start, that's the best conference opening in over 25 years at UMES. That has to create a ton of excitement on campus. Tell us a little bit about what's going on campus as it relates to women's basketball.
Well, yeah, we just had a opening meeting, a session back with faculty and staff, and I mean, they had a power slide, a slideshow for it. I mean, it's great. It's great for the community. It's great for campus. I was in the grocery store the other day trying to get ready for the storm, and people were actually like they usually just stare at me a little bit. Now they talking to me and saying things, so. I mean, it is good. But yeah, like I've been saying all year, we're not the kind of team that's gonna blow anybody out. So everything is gonna be tight.
Okay.
Regardless on a win or a loss, it's gonna be an overtime game. It's gonna be, 3 points. It's just gonna be tight. That's the way we play, and I'm starting to think that's the way they like it, and that's what we say all the time. I guess we just want to be in adverse situations and then they just pull it out at the end or don't. It just depends on how it goes. But those tight games and overtime games is what we expect. And when we go
Yeah,
into the locker room before the game, at halftime, everything we're talking about that to get ready. Buckle up because here it comes.
yeah. Well, in that game, Ashanti Lynch, let's talk about her. She led you with 28 points, 15 boards, and two steals. And Kalia Perry, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks. That's some work there, coach. I guess having a head coach who lived in the paint and earned her keep in the paint, you expect that from your post players, but and those who love to get on the glass. This one went in overtime, but the difference now is that I guess the culture that you have established and continue to build is that your Hawks expect to win these type of games. Where does that belief come from?
Well, it comes from our seniors. It comes from Ashanti and DeKaren and Lainey and Brianna. They Shauna now our grad transfer. It comes from them. They're hungry. And they've been the first three that I mentioned have been here for 4 years.
Yeah,
So they see the
yeah.
whole evolution, and they see the results, and they want it bad. And I could appreciate them for that. So it's easy. It comes from them. And I'm glad you said Ashanti and Kalia because they're getting it in that four position for us, and we've been
Hmm.
out. Laney Allen's been gone for 10 games, and they've really been stepping it up, trying to fill her position, and it's starting to click a little bit. So I'm glad that they're becoming successful with in leading us in those areas because that was something that we were really deficient in.
Well, I'm telling you, coach, Lynch led the scores with 28 and 15, but that was her second 20-point game in January and third double-double of the year. And then Perry, she's the second Hawk in double figures, so you're getting some production that you were expecting now. But more importantly, the Hawks capitalize on 27 Coppin State turnovers. And you outscored them 17-9 on fast breaks opportunities. Had 12 assists. So I mean, you're getting production in areas that when you at the end of the game, when you look at stat sheets, sometimes you don't see them, you get frustrated, but you look at it and you see this, you got to be able to smile and say, okay, now we're seeing some areas being affected positively that letting you know that maybe something is sinking in finally, and maybe that's why you're 4-0.
Yeah, I mean that's something that we've always harped on is trying to turn defense into offense. Now more than ever because a lot of teams are playing a zone, and that's fine too. But if they can't set up in it, it works in our favor. And that,
Yeah.
we talk about that. We were talking about how to execute in the half court against the zone and things like that. But they are seeing that okay, now we ain't got to worry about it if we just get it on the other end and get in
Yeah.
transition. So. Those things are definitely we're talking about it and we do smile a little bit when we see it and we remind them that this is what we've been trying to establish early on.
All right, coach, and then now, so when you do bounce it again out on the floor officially, it's going to be Saturday, if it hasn't changed, at Dell State, a rivalry game, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm sure Rob Knox and Charles Hallman will have some questions for you. So I warmed you up for both of those guys. Let's go to Rob first. Rob.
Morning, Coach. Hopefully it's not too bad down your way. On East Shore. But I know Lynn alluded to it a little bit. What's the challenge of been idle for 16 days during in January, and in addition to practices, what else are you planning doing or planning to do with your team, or just is it just practice film? Is it like anything to creative to break up the monotony of no games, or just take me through the whole process?
Yeah, no, it's practice and film for sure. But it's a lot of individual sessions too, on and off the court with our assistant coaches, and we meet a lot as a staff, and they're taking from little bits from our meetings and going into individual meetings with our players and trying to show them things that we're talking about on the floor and practice and things like that. So a lot of film, but we also have a lot of individual shooting also going on. So some player development and things like that. But besides that, rest. They need the rest. We were banged up. We were we were pretty banged up, and this couldn't come at a better time for us. And hopefully, everybody comes back healthy.
And Lainey, is she done for the year, or is you expect her back? What's her status? And if I know there's other coaches on the call, so if you want to just text me on the side,
No,
that's fine.
I'm not that kind of coach. Listen, Lainey is back. Lainey is back, and I'll tell it on the mountain because I'm happy. No, she's not done. She's not done. We didn't have her for 10 games, and it was a struggle, and we figured it out at the end. But no, she's back. Lainey's back, and thank goodness.
Yeah, just in time for it.
I can't look, I can't even put it no other way because DK was doing all she could do down there. She was getting everybody's best shot, and thank goodness for her too, because she doesn't back down to anything. But having Laney in there with her, it just smooths it out a little bit. And like we said, Kalia, she's a freshman. She has a lot to learn, but she has a good skill set and she's competitive. So she did all she could do too. We threw her into the fire, and people were coming at them in the paint, and now we survived those first hits.
No, I appreciate that, and that's all I have for now. Keep up the good work, and I'll see you sometime in February.
All right, thank you. Be
Yep.
safe.
All right, thanks, Rob. Charles Harmon, you're on.
Good morning. Thank you, Coach.
Good morning.
When I first met you at the tournament last year, you talked about that you felt your players were just on that verge of being good, being better, understanding what they need to compete. So do you feel that your team did reach that threshold? And what else think the team need to do to continue to be as good as you want it to be as you proceed through the season?
Well, I think that level of competition is something that you have to work on all the time because sometimes they get a little complacent. So, yeah, last year we were on the verge of that and having that click and be instilled in us. And we've just been consistently challenging our players to compete. We got different drills. We practice against guys every day. We had to turn it off a little bit and start practicing against each other to get them a little more competitive. And that's been working for us also. So I think that it's something that we expect, of course, but it is something that sometimes, again, Shanti's going up against some whoever every day, and she's pretty much coming out on the other end of it. So we gotta change it up to keep her a little more humble and things like that. And so we're always trying to be creative in practice for a competitive edge.
Thank you very much, Coach. Be safe and good luck.
Thank you. Same to you. Be
Thanks,
safe.
Charles. Hey, Coach, before we let you go, one question that will lead up to this weekend's game. Let's talk about Delaware State. I mean, they're coming off a big win the last game over South Carolina State. What do you see in that ball club and the challenge that you'll face going into Dover?
Yeah, I think they have a lot of good pieces. I mean, they got some young players out there that's really exciting to watch and just electrifying their offense and defense. They're pressing full court. They're getting some turnovers out of that. They're shooting the ball well, getting to the basket, and definitely rebound. The inside is I'm impressed with the 4 and 5 position for them for sure. So we're gonna have to really just stay solid, try and limit fouls on our end because they do go downhill a little bit, and then on the other side of it, we've been working on our defense a little bit more so that we could try and, like we mentioned earlier, get some turnovers and anticipate these steals that sometimes the ball's right in front of us and we're not coming up with those 50-50 balls.
Okay. Well, Coach, whatever you've been working on seems to be working. You still remain perfect in league play 4-0, even though you've had to postpone the last two games. I know you're anxious to get back on the floor and to find out what else the Hawks can do to continue their trek towards the top of the league standings and to maintain that continued momentum. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And best of luck this week at Dover. Thanks for joining us. All right.
Thank you. Be safe.
Okay, for those of you out there with us, we're still having difficulty getting Dell State on the line. We will have Coach Ty Grace from Howard joining us at the tail end of the show. And if you will allow us, we'll shift gears right now and focus our attention to Morgan State. We do have Coach Nadine Domond on with us. Are you there this morning, Coach?
How are you?
I'm fine.
Happy
You staying?
Monday.
Thank you. Same to you. You staying warm and safe in Baltimore?
Absolutely.
Good, Coach. Since our last time talking, the Bears hit the road for a 3-game swing and returned home 1-2 with the win over Dell State and losses at Norfolk and most recently this past Saturday at Howard. But let's talk about the win at Dell State first. I mean, Kalen Nash hit a jumper in the lane as time virtually expired to give the Bears the win, 61-59, after the Hornets had battled back to virtually, put this thing in the balance. Take us through that.
Well, I think the last moment, big players, big shot makers make big plays at right times, right? Big shot, Rob, and she just happened to make the right shot, be in the right spot to get the rebound and put the ball back and to take care of business. And, it was a good moment. It was a good momentum swing. We needed that win because they continue to grow. They continue to take steps towards the right direction as we continue to build this thing. And I'm just super proud of them, and if you look at, throughout the weekend, we just taking steps, it's just us finishing learning and how to close out games, or when we get a lead, learning how to keep the lead and take care of business and continue to be effective. But you got to credit all the coaches, not just at Dell State, but all the 3 coaches that I played against, Woods and Grace. They're great coaches. They're great coaches in the league, and I think they have their kids ready to play every day. And for us, we just got to continue to keep chopping wood and learning how to close out games. And I'm super happy about the Dell State game because that's what happened. We were able to close that game out.
Okay, now, you closed that one out, but what about starting the game? Because game 2 of the road swing, you went to Norfolk and you fall behind early, you're down 13.5, and you could not make up that double-digit deficit, and you lose that one 72-58 to a very talented and tough team in Norfolk. And that's tough to play
Absolutely.
in Norfolk and win that one. Let's talk about that.
Well, that game right there, you have to credit Woods. I think he had his kids ready to play, and his guards were played extremely well with Clinton and Clark and those guys. And I think for us, we were in the game. I think us recognizing time, situation, score, and sticking to our game plan. I think we went kind of an array off of it. I think we got away from the game plan and they started playing their kind of basketball. And so with that, and it's hard to battle, like you said, it's hard to play at Norfolk and it's hard to come from behind. But the fact that they continue to work, and wanted to come. I mean, the score is not indicative of who we are. We just got to continue to work. And sometimes we just got to admit, they won. And they played a great heck of a ball game, and we didn't show up the way we supposed to. And I'll take leadership. I'll take ownership of that. And with us, continue to grow and continue to get better. He has his team rolling. Woods has his team rolling. So you got to credit that. But my kids got to come ready to play and finish the game.
Okay. All right. I'll take that, Coach. Then let's go to Saturday night at Howard. I mean, you got a tough basketball game there. You got a game that had 10 lead changes. The game was tied 9 times. The Bears built a 15-10 lead in the first quarter. You went to the break up to 31-29. Howard, you knew they were going to make a run. They regrouped after intermission. They outscored the Bears 42-26 in the second half to win it 71-57. But this was a tough basketball game in a tough place to play, a rivalry game. Let's focus in on that game. Just take us through it.
I think I think our kids learned from the Norfolk State game and wanted to show and step up and express who they really are. I think Ty had her kids ready to roll in the second half. But we have to make shots, in those moments. Being able to make shots and close out possessions is what we need to do. And that's what we got to continue to work on this week in practice, because we got a real tough team coming up with Coppin. So for us, it's just taking care of the basket, no empty possessions. And I think we had too many empty possessions, and they capitalized on those empty possessions and was effective. And I mean, it was a great game. I mean, Ty had her kids playing. They played a hard, well-coached team. But I think my kids were already up for the challenge. We just didn't capitalize on the opportunities that was presented to us. And so it's like this week, we're back to the drawing board and continue to get better. I see stride. I see growth. I see how we're growing. I see how we're getting better. It's just that's not enough, more victories. We have to get W's. And in order to get W's, you have to make shots, and we have to take care of that.
All right, this Saturday, rivalry game again. Crosstown rivalry. Don't have to worry about travel as much as other folks do, but still you got to worry about the weather and the snow, the crowd. It may affect the crowd, but if you do tip it off, it's going to be at Coppin State, and an opportunity to put it all together to get back into the win column. What do you see as the keys to coming out on top? Not necessarily scouting Coppin, but maybe scouting Morgan itself.
Well, for us, we just got, like I said, I think I already told you, I think sticking to the game plan and making shots. And we have too many empty possessions and turnovers at crucial times. And I think that's what we have to continue to work on, and making good decisions at the right time, and taking a great shot instead of a shot that we could take any other time. So understanding the game plan, sticking to the game plan, sticking to who we are, and believe. I mean, listen, that's the wonderful thing about the MEAC, right? And it's a wonderful thing about this opportunity. We get to play people, and Mosley got his kids playing. I mean, they played a great first quarter against South Carolina, and then they came back and they battled, and I saw them play against Howard. He got those kids rolling. They're tough. They play hard. We just got to stick to our principle and be tough. I recognize the tougher team wins in this league. The more disciplined team wins in this league. The team that is understanding of what their goal is and the game plans to win this league. And so with that being said, we just got to put our nose to the ground and just look down and just keep grinding, keep working, and taking advantage of the shots that we're supposed to take and do the things we're supposed to do.
Okay. Coach, that's it for me. Rob Knox has one or two questions for you. Rob.
Hey, what's up, Coach? How are you this morning?
Trying to get better, man. Trying to get better.
I feel you.
Are you warm today? Are you warm?
I'm definitely warm, but I gotta go outside in a little bit of shovel, so that's not fun. Quick, we'll ask about two players. One I noticed didn't play this past weekend at Norfolk and Norfolk and Howard. Injuries, coach's decision, or just within the team, not really could talk about.
I just think that we're just trying to build, just continue to build and who we need to be,
Got you. And then JL Butler, I see that it's weird. I've seen you play so many times this year in person. I've never seen her play this year, but she's obviously been playing well for you. She had a nice game at Norfolk. Can you just share what she brings to your program and how she's been progressive throughout the year?
I think JL is one of the best kept secrets in this league. I think she has developed, she has grown as a player. Her inside presence give us an opportunity to do some great things, and her ability. She's a very skilled post player. I think she's very special. I told her the other day. As she continue to grow and work with the other players that we have, I think we could be really good together and continue to watch her play. I think if she stick to the game plan and stick to what's expected of her, she can be very, very special, not just here in the MEAC, but I think professionally also. I think she's a very special kid. And, I'm just really proud of her because she continued to grow and work every day.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Rob. We're gonna let you go and get back ready or stay warmer, Coach. But we appreciate you logging in and talking with us today. It's going to be Morgan State at Coppin State this Saturday, the 31st at 2 p.m. And you can watch that game on ESPN Plus or listen to it on the Heritage Sports Radio Network. And thanks again, Coach. Let's turn our attention now to Norfolk State. Jermaine Woods, the coach. I see him logged in here with us. Good morning to you, Coach Woods.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Coach. You heard her giving you all those accolades. You heard her, didn't you? I know you heard her speaking good about the
That's
Spartans. And I mean, but hey, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, look, since the last time we talked to you, man, you won 3 in a row. You're 5-1 in league play. You're sitting the tie with Howell for second. And you go battle them this weekend, but we'll get to that in a minute. The streak started though with a huge win at South Carolina State. Then you followed that up with a double-digit win at home over Morgan, and then another one over Coppin. How do you assess the Spartans' performance at this point in season 1 of the Jermaine Woods era in Norfolk?
Well, first of all, I appreciate Nadine, man. Nadine is a class act, always been. I really appreciate her words. And all the coaches in the conference are just really good people. But man, where you want to be. I mean, like I told you last time we played, we're a defensive team. We're in the top of the MEAC in every defensive category besides one, and that's rebounding. And we're kind of struggling with that right now. And we got to clean that up for sure. But now when conference only starts, I'll be topping the conference in offense as well. So we just had to get things going. I'm proud of the young woman for just buying in and, obviously taking over a new team that has went back to back championships. It comes with a lot. Like I said in last meeting, the floor could be named Larry Vickers Court. He done such a great job there. So, the buy-in had to get there. You had to show, who you are and stand by what you believe in. So, again, Norfolk State was #1 in conference defense last year. We're back at it this year. So, we play a different kind of defense, but that's what we're standing on. We just got to rebound the ball better. But definitely proud of the performances by the young woman. All credit goes to the coaches and them for sure.
Okay, Coach, in the win over South Carolina State, DeBrea Clark, but she set the program single game 3-point record. It hit 9 from deep. 9. I mean, that's tough to do. She recorded her second career double-double. She ended up with 30 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and probably could have done more. Jason Clinton also had a double-double. You'd like to see more of these type of performances across the roster, wouldn't you?
Yeah, man. Like they've been really working. And like it's been the buy-in is there. DeBrea can really shoot it. She had a little injury going on that people didn't know about with her hand. So as she's gotten better, her shots start going in a little bit. So we're glad to have her healthy. And Jason's back healthy. So we've been dealing with a few bumps and bruises that people and they still try to play through it. So just definitely, but DeBrea can shoot the ball, man. She's a really talented player. And like we said, her role is bigger this year than it's ever been. So she stepped into the plate, and she had 8 the other night. So she broke the record with 9. I think the previous record was 7, so she had 9. Then she had 8 the other night. So definitely, I'm proud of her.
Well, against Morgan, and she's at the top of everybody's scouting list. I mean, everybody's got to stop her, but check this out. Against Morgan, you win 72-58. They said, we got to stop Clark. Okay, stop Clark. Well, Clinton leads the Spartans with 18 points, 4 boards, 4 steals, 4 assists. Worley, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Richardson, 16. Clark, just a workman, 13. That balance, that's the balance that that's just like new edition. Everybody can sing.
Yeah, So it's good. It's a good point, man. They really stepped up. She had an off night, and credit to again, like you said, to Nadine for her game plan and trying to stop DeBrea. But we just share the ball now. Like the ball is moving. If you watch us play, the ball is popping, and nobody cares who score anymore. And I think that's that's why we're flowing on offense a little bit better. So we still got to get better. We got some things we got to clean up. We go against a well-coached Harvard team, and we have to go in there and clean up a few things. So, go in there and try to compete.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Coach, when we talked about Clark, which he did 30 points against Coppin, but Richardson, Carmen Queety, 10 points, Clinton. Did you think you get balanced this early in the season? like
Yeah,
that.
oh, for sure. I mean, we recruited these kids and we thought all of them were good enough to score. So, any night, any of them could be the leading scorer on the team.
Yeah.
We're very balanced when we need to be. And then you talked about Cerise. Cerise is the glue as well. Like she's just a steady player. Like she can have 15 points, she might have two, but she's playing 38, 40 minutes. She don't come out the game. So definitely
Okay.
proud of her output against Morgan and Coppin. I think everybody scored in single digits except for Debris. I think Debris had 30 and
Yeah.
and everybody else was just giving her the ball and trying to, feed her, and she was hot. I'm definitely proud of the balance. Our guards are really talented, and now I'm just letting them play. Like, just go,
Okay.
just go.
All right.
Don't overcoach, right? Don't overthink. You have talent. Just defend, and then go do what you got to do on the other end, and we'll figure it out from there. So definitely
All
proud
right.
of them and the way they're sharing the ball.
All right, Coach. Let's go to the media. Rob Knox has a question or two for you. Rob.
Coach Woods, what's happening, man?
Yeah, man. What's up, my man?
Let's talk about Carmen for a minute. Just what, how has she grown from day one to now? What are maybe some of the things that people don't see that you want to share about her growth and impact on both ends of the floor for you?
Yeah, man. When Carmen first got here, we did some player development. Obviously, she came from a great program at Virginia State with Coach Nadine, Domond, and we just wanted to like add to that bag. And she had a little injury that set her back a little bit, and so that kind of halted her development a little bit. And then Cece was playing well, and so her minutes went down, but she stayed the course, man. She works hard every day. She's a rebounding machine. She goes out to every rebound. Um, Now we're letting her shoot the jumper a little bit more. She's making a lot in practice. She made her first three of her career versus Coppin, a well-coached Coppin team. Darrell does a good job. Um, and she made her first three of her career. She was excited, but she makes it all the time in practice. So we want to expand her game, man, but don't lose what her bread and butter is. That's rebounding and defending. So I think she's one of the top 5 or 4 in the conference in shot blocks as well, block shots. So we're excited for Carmen and her growth, and she's going to be a big part of our down the stretch for us.
And my second question is, I always ask this, well, just from a perspective, obviously we see the numbers with Debris has done 2 of her last 3 games, with the shooting and things like that. As a coach or just as a basketball person, what is that like in that moment for you witnessing Debris get in the zone like that, have those types of shooting performances?
Yeah, I mean, you just leave her alone, right? I mean, like she does it all the time in practice, man. She can really shoot the ball. Um, and so we try to run things for her. But, with Jasha at the point, man, like you really just kind of got to get out the way, Rob. And I think I've done that. Like I might have been in the way too much, right? And so I just got out the way, and then Jasha's pushing. She's one of the fastest guards I've ever coached. Um, and she's pushing. They just finding each other, man, and they're happy for each other. Like to see her in that zone, but to see her teammates know she's in the zone. Like against South Carolina State was on a fast break and Jessica got a layup. She passed it back to Debris. AJ was in the lane, had a layup right in front of the rim. She pivoted 3 times. Probably should have been 3 seconds, but she found Debris because she wanted her to score. I caught the play for AJ versus Coppin to get her the ball in the ISO situation. She said, "No, coach, let's get Debris the ball." And so just for her teammates to see that and want that for her is a big deal. And we're coming together, Rob. Like we're really coming together as a unit, and the buy-in is getting there. So I'm definitely excited about what the future holds for this squad, and we keep the bread shooting like that, we're gonna be tough to beat.
And lastly, do you, I mean, like, do you feel like when you're watching that, like, do you feel like a fan sometimes? Instead of you like, oh, shoot, I'm coaching this team. Let me stop watching it and get excited.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is exciting, Rob. But no, not to talk about myself, but I made 113 threes in the season, so I've seen it before, and I broke the school record at Kristen Newport. So I've been there, so I know how I feel. I made 9 in the game. I think she was 9 for. She beat me though. I think she was 9 for 18. I was like, I might have been 9 for 19 or something like that. So I mean, she was 9 for 17. I was 9 for 18. So I've been there, man. I know how I feel, and to see the smile on her face just is everything to me. So she'll look at me though and be like, and you ain't call to play for me in a minute. I said, I got you. Well, I got you. I'm gonna call the next 2 for you. So to see that young lady happy and the things that, I know you have something coming out on her, man, to what she's been through her life, and just to see her happy at this moment is a big deal for me. So just proud of her, man. And it's definitely fun watching. Being on this end of it, because I've been on the other end of Norfolk State, at Coppin State, seeing that ball go in the hole like that. So being on this end is really good and really fun.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Great question, Rob. And Coach, I guess you know, as a coach, I know you got to manage the game, but Sometimes when you're seeing these types of performances, how do you balance being the coach versus the fan?
I mean, you kind of don't. You know what I mean? Like you gotta just let yourself loose a little bit with these young women,
Yeah,
man, and just be authentic, right? And
right.
you don't want to like my goal now, Lynn, is to be the opposite of what they are, right? When they're angry, and I want to be happy. When they're too excited, I want to make sure I bring them back down a little bit. But when you see a
Okay.
performance like that, you just kind of just pat her on the back and man, great job, and I'm proud of you, kid. And that's kind of what I say to her.
All right, Coach. Well, that's it for the media questions. We thank you so much for joining us. I know you got to get back, got a lot of work to do because you got a big one just around the corner. So thanks so much, Coach. All right.
Thank you.
That'll be it's going to be a huge one. Norfolk State at Howard, Saturday, January 31st, 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Speaking about that game, we're going to insert Coach Ty Grace into the slot right now. Coach Grace, we appreciate you joining us. So good to see you this morning. I hope you're staying warm over in DC. How are you today?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. And this is going to be a huge one, but let's talk about the Bison now. You're 15-7 overall, 5-1 in the MEAC, and 6-0 in the Burr at this point. And since our last show, you've run off 3 straight in the league, an 8-point win at Central, followed up by a 13-point win at home over at Coppin, and on Saturday night at home by 14 over Morgan. Has this team begun to hit its stride yet, or do you expect another level from your Bison?
Oh, I expect another level.
Okay. Wow, point blank. Like to hear that. And that hard fought game at Central, Zanaya Thomas showed up big time in the clutch. She's scoring the game's last 8 points in the final minute to close out the win. She finished with a game high 19, along with freshman Ariella Hennigan and now Miller to lead the Bison. More importantly, in the last minute, Thomas dominated the boards. She had 5 rebounds and finished with 13 for the game. This was a very impressive performance. Give us your spin on things about this young lady.
Well, I think Z is just showing what she's always been able to do. I don't think that this is like a new player. She had this ability last year. She was also surrounded by some other pretty talented scorers. So, she probably didn't get the highlight that she probably is getting now due to that. But she's always had this ability. I've always believed that she could be this type of player. And, she's showing and proving that. So hopefully she'll keep doing it.
Wow. Well, and then on the road at Coppin, you get a great defensive performance out of the entire team. After they settle down in the 64-51 win, you held Coppin State to 27% shooting, including 21% from deep. You forced 24 Coppin turnovers that led to 18 points, and then Amos led scoring with 22 points, 6 of 12 from the floor, and 9 of 10 from the line with 7 boards and 5 assists. When you get that kind of performance consistently, the Bison are hard to beat, right?
I would say any team is hard to beat with that type of performance, but that's, it's all about consistency. You can show up like that in one game and the next game you don't, then you get beat. So it's all about consistency for us. If we can consistently guard and defend that way, which we work on and talk about almost every day, I think we'll be okay. But you have to be consistent in those areas to be able to, see the success.
All right, then most recently, running the streak to 6-0 at home, Thomas and Miller, double doubles. You had 5 Bison in double figures, rebounded from a kind of sluggish first half to pull away 71-57. But Coach, early in the game, I watched you made a change. You pulled out everybody, inserted some other folks in. Was that to send a message, or just was that a routine substitution? Because after that, everything changed.
It wasn't a message. I'm gonna put people on the floor that are gonna go play hard. I mean, as simple as that. Morgan came ready to play. Nadine got her team ready. And when you don't show up, you don't get to stay on the floor. And you stay on the floor by playing hard and having effort. And so if I got 8 other people that I can put in that and see if they're gonna do it, that's what I'm gonna do. So it wasn't a message. My team knows what the expectation is. They
Okay.
know what the standard is. And if you are not living up to the standard expectation, then you don't deserve to be on the floor. And so that's what happened. And when they were ready to go, you saw what happened. They went back on the floor and they did what they were supposed to do.
Well, you got a roster that deep that you can do that, coach, and you're right. So and you saw the difference, and they responded. Final thing, you're going to play Norfolk State Saturday at home in the Burr. Every time these two teams meet, it's almost like a championship game, even in the middle of the season. Although it is only the next game on your schedule, does this game mean something more because it's historically or perennially the two top programs in the league?
Every game is a big game. I know what this game means. People, I don't know if people forget, but I feel like they do. Norfolk has won the last 4 championships, and so we are not the reigning champs. So we need to, approach this as it's a game that we are trying to win. I don't look at it as a championship game.
Okay.
It's a game that we're trying to win. Much respect to Woods. He's doing a great job. So, we're approaching this game as a game that we want to win like we do every game.
All right. Fair enough. Coach, that's it for me. I warmed you up for Rob Knox. Rob, you got it.
Hey, what's up, Ty? Long time no see.
Hi.
Hi. Can you just share a little bit? Obviously you've been getting great performances beyond Zanea and Nile, you're freshman. It's been different ones. I mean, I know she hasn't like necessarily scored a lot, but I really have liked the energy of Jada Kendrick for you, and obviously Emma. Just can you just share some of the growth of your new players and how they've helped you through the MEAC games?
So I think, all of my freshmen, I believe, are super talented. I think they all bring something different to the table. Jada has, she is playing with like a finger injury. Like she's just a tough kid, but she brings a different level of motor to our team. And that's why you've seen her get some more time lately. She's just playing extremely hard and getting right to it when she gets on the court. And that's what we knew who she was going to be. As far as Emma, and Ari, again, two other talented kids that can score. Ari's defending a lot better. Emma's making shots. So, when they just go out there and be themselves and be who they are, they're going to help us be successful. So I'm hoping that they continue to grow because they've had the freshmen, the woes of up and down and being inconsistent, but they believe in what we're doing. They have confidence in themselves. I have confidence in them. So I'm hoping they'll continue to, have more success.
And then, secondly, I know we just alluded to this a little bit on Thursday, but what's the best part of you, obviously aside from the wins, but how you are achieving the wins, but what's the best part of seeing your team respond to everybody's best shot? Obviously, the teams are, programs are coming out there playing hard, like as you mentioned the other day, like you've won the last 4 championships. But seeing your team be able to absorb that, take it, gain control methodically, and then just do what y'all need to do in the fourth quarter.
I think, we have to have mental capacity to be able to endure runs and things of that nature. And as I've told my team, it's not going to stop. You're going to continue to get the best out of people, and we need to continue to try to give our best to teams. And so until we lay down and rest, that's what it's going to be. And I don't intend on doing that. We're going to continue to be resilient. Everybody expects us to just play well all the time, and that's just not a realistic thing. We are going to have bad quarters, bad rebounding games and such. But if you keep, grinding and sticking to the plan and doing what we've been doing since the top of the summer, things tend to work out.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Problem.
Thanks for that, Rob. Final question for you, Coach, comes from Charles Hallman from the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. If you anything else you want to say about three of these players that's been mentioned earlier, Thomas, Harrigan, and Miller, who seem to be online to be receiving some individual awards at the end of the season. Anything you want to add to that? Their play, what they can do, what they've been doing, and what they can just continue to get better at.
No, I don't. I think they're just going to continue to do the work. Like we don't like to talk about what we need to do and all those different things. They're just gonna stay in the gym and do the work. They're gonna just show up and be prepared. And so that's about it. They're great kids.
A follow up, just you as a coach, where'd you get that style of emphasis when you know you don't see things going right? You take care of it, whether making mass substitutions or making whatever you have to do. Where'd you get that style, that emphasis, that that spirit that you have?
I just grew up like that. I was raised like that. It's about work ethic. You're not gonna get things that you don't earn. And it kind of reflects in my team. If you're not working hard, you're not gonna get the results you want. And bottom line, they know that. They see that we put in our practices are probably harder than our games. Our shoot arounds are probably harder than our games. So if we're not working, we're not gonna see the result. And I grew up like that. It's just a foundation in me that I've had. And I try to pour into my players.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Coach, thank you for joining us this morning. I know it's been difficult, the weather has challenged everybody's schedules, but we wish you nothing but the best this weekend as the Bison will host Norfolk State Saturday, 2 p.m. That's on the 31st. And for those who are going to watch, it's going to be on ESPN+. Have a great day, Coach.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to go down to Durham. We're going to holler at Coach Baxter now, Terrence Baxter, and the North Carolina Central basketball team. Let's talk to Coach Baxter. Are you with us, Coach? I see him logged in.
I'm here.
There he is. How are you today, Coach?
I'm doing well. How y'all guys doing today? Ladies and gentlemen.
Man. What's the weather like down there? Y'all got a break in it yet?
Well, I live an hour and about 40 minutes from Durham, so I'm hearing still a little sketchy, but she'll be able to get there tomorrow.
So you skied to work, eh?
Hey, you got to get there either way it comes.
All right. So, Coach, here's where we are. Still looking to break into the win column, 0-4, but you've been close, man. Since our last show on January 12th, you've only played once in a hard home loss to Howard, a tough game. Does the lack of actual game action hamper your progress, or do you look at it now as an opportunity to really work on things that you can only get done through practice and evaluation in the lab?
I would say a little bit of both.
Okay.
After that game on Saturday against Howard, we played well. We played 4 quarters, and I was really happy with my team. We didn't win, but I was happy with our effort for 4 quarters. And I would say we was ready to play on Thursday, and then when that weather hit, and it kind of stung us a little bit. You're getting on the right page, and then the weather hit. Now you got to wait 10 to 12 days before you play again. That was tough on our chi a little bit, because we was definitely ready to play, and we definitely feel like we're getting everything in order to finish this thing the right way.
Now, if this would have happened last year, you would probably welcomed it, because you were dinged up pretty bad at this point in the season. You remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, in the loss to Howard, it was indeed a good ball game. I mean, the Eagles had 43.8% from distance shooting the ball. Tiana Coleman and Nia Young hit consecutive 3-pointers to tie the score at 61 all. And you thought you had something working. But Howard went on an 8-0 run to in the final 2 minutes to really distance them.
And really and truly, it was 2 rebounds that cost us that game. At the end of the game, the last 2 possessions of the game, they got multiple offensive rebounds, and I think 2 of the last 3 possessions. And if we get those stopped right there, we win the game. And Morgan Callahan, she missed 2 wide open layups that she normally don't miss. And really and truly, we make our free throws, we still win the game. But we just playing key times, key moments, we're not coming through. And like I said, it's 10 games left in conference. We right where we want to be. We ain't upset. Yes, we want to win some games, but it's coming. I know it's coming. And we know we have a team that can beat anybody in this league, and we working out the kinks. I think for this team is the first team that has taken this long to jail, and we have 7 seniors, but only 2 of the seniors has been here forever. The other ones are new. So getting us to jail, this team took longer than the other teams I've had the last 2 years. And I think we're finally getting there. People truly understanding their roles and what they're supposed to do to help us win. But if we get those 2 last rebounds, we win that game.
So you're saying some cakes take longer to bake, depending on where you get the ingredients from, right?
Well, there you go. And we
okay.
Go ahead.
I get it. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Okay, Callahan and Lane, every night, you know what you're getting from them. You're gonna get double figures. You know that. But those are the only 2 players you got averaging double figures. Is scoring a problem for you? And if so, does that mean that defensively you got to be that much better as a team?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we play well defense and stretches, and then we have those stretches where we forget to play basketball. I think the same thing with our offense. Lane and Callahan definitely consistent every night. Fingers getting there as well, but we got to get some better play out of our wings. We kind of injured on the wings right now. We got 3 of them out. And if you notice, they didn't play last game, but getting healthy on the wings and just making better decisions on the wing will help us, because we play inside out through Morgan and Finger, and our wings got to be able to knock down some shots. Getting Tierney Coleman back is going to help in that sense as well. And Nia Young is definitely coming on strong down the stretch. They're starting to truly understand their roles. But we hang our hat on defense, and we've been trying to get that in order the last 2 games. As you've seen, we play Howard very well. We're going to defend, and I think the team has finally bought in that we got to defend to have a chance to win. And offense, hey, my grandma can score. If you kick it to her in the corner, my grandmother can knock it down. But if you make her go down to the other end and she got to go play some defense on somebody, it ain't going to be done. So collective defense and team defense down the stretch, like I said, we played well defense last game. But if you look at the film, them last 2 or 3 possessions, we had 3 people rebounding and 2 people standing on the perimeter for the 2 biggest possessions of the game, and we're trying to fix that.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. The next opportunity you're going to get to fix something. Let's see. Let's talk about this. Your most recent game, Dell State, was postponed. Then you got to You got to wait till Saturday?
Yes, sir.
To break the streak in Orangeburg against South Carolina State. I guess this gives you the luxury now of spending extra time scouting South Carolina State, because under normal circumstances, you gotta have another game or so in between before you can get to them. So let's talk about South Carolina State. You've had some extra time to spend on Cedric Baker and his team.
Well, I wouldn't say we had extra time to spend on them, because we really hadn't played since we didn't play Thursday, or we didn't play Saturday.
Right.
So Thursday we was preparing for Maryland Eastern Shore. Then we was getting ready to prepare for Dell State. Neither of those games happened. So now the storm hit. Can't really get in the gym but a little bit. And now we're gonna prepare for South Carolina State starting today and tomorrow. But South Carolina State's playing very well. Got a great coach. Said does a great job, man. They're not the South Carolina State that they used to be. Like everybody's saying, in this league, you better be ready to play every night. I don't care if you're at home, you're on the road, you better be ready to play or you will lose.
Coach, let me ask you this question. In a storm like this, when you can't get to the gym, what do? You do a Zoom session with your team? And you guys
all the ones that's on campus, we make sure they getting in the gym and getting their stuff up, getting their shots up. We got managers, we got some coaches that live right there by the campus, so we can still get in there. We got about 4 or 5 kids that live off campus, so they can't get right. But we were able to practice Friday and Saturday before the storm hit. So we kind of in our normal schedule. As long as we can get back there tomorrow, we'll be in normal schedule, because normally we'll play Saturday, which we practiced yesterday, play off Sunday, recovery, and then off Monday and get everything going Tuesday. So we right on schedule as far as everything else. We just ready to play some games and tired of beating up on each other.
Okay, well, we'll let Rob Knox beat up on you right now with some questions. Rob.
Hey man, I'm not beating up on you this morning, man. I'm hoping this call goes forever so I can avoid going outside to shovel our cars out. But
I already did that this morning.
I know when we talked last, Naja Lane, you've had it now for a year. Your program, I know she was at Delaware State last year, and Johnson C. Smith before that. In what ways, just from like some of your conversations or just some interactions that you've had or just observations of her with her teammates or just in general, in what ways has she grown off the court for you? And what is her most valuable asset to your program?
Nigel Lane is a born leader. I talked to Coach Jazz before I took her. She had nothing but great things to say about the kid. The kid came in the door, and she's done nothing but lead us and been a leader from the day one. I can't ask for nothing more than that kid. She works hard every day. She talks. She leads. She does every drill hard. I wish I had her for 4 years. She's that kind of kid that sometimes you get for 1 year and you wish you had them longer. But Naja Lang is everything to us. She's our engine. And if she's playing well, we're playing well. We're trying to get her to cut down on some of those turnovers that she has early in the games. But normally her turnovers come from her not being aggressive. So keeping her aggressive on both ends of the floor, it helps us be who we are.
And then again, I know this is not a moral victory type conference with conference games, but what can you take from I think I actually just have to cop it too, right? But what can you take from the Howard game? Obviously, y'all were right there. Howard, made some plays late down the stretch to win. But what can you take and build off of that for the remainder of your your 10 conference games?
Against that Howard game, they well coached. They well coached every year. Ty does a great job, man. It's a tough battle every year. But what we can pull from that game, we finally played 4 quarters. We put 4 quarters together the entire game, and it had some ups and downs as usual. But I was happy with our effort, being down a few. Anaya Finger didn't play in that game as well, but we hung in there and we played with the kids we had, and we played hard for 4 quarters. We defended for 4 quarters, and it was a game. It could have went either way. Howard made plays down the stretch with 2 minutes to go. We missed a couple of layups and a free throw here and there, and that's the game. And Miss Thomas played very well. She scored the last 8 points, and that's where I'm on Morgan about. She scored the last 8, and we missed 2 of those layups. Well, Morgan drove to the rim by herself and just missed the bunny. We make those 2 layups. It's a whole different game in those last 2 minutes, but take nothing for Howard. They beat us fair and square, straight up and down. We're going to grow from that game, but I think our kids are learning that what we have to do, they got it now. And we just looking to finish these last 10 games strong and go into the tournament ready to go.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, man.
All right, Coach. Now a question from Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. Charles.
Good morning, Coach. How are things going for you?
Good morning. How we doing, bro?
Doing fine. Thank you very much. How do you and your coaching staff keep your players interested when things are not going well? I mean, of course, you want to win, but sometimes at this time of year, especially almost close to dog days in season, kids start doubting, can things get better? Is it worth keep playing? How do you do that, and how do you keep yourself to do that as well, to keep going in these tough times?
I think I'm my best coach when my back is against the wall. My back has been against the wall since I took on this head coach job with an interim tag for the first 2 years. So it's nothing for us. My kids are locked in. They very much locked in. As you can tell, the way we played against Howard. A lot of times this time of the year, you do see teams check out. But we're nowhere close to that. Coach Baxter doesn't coach those type teams that check out because we down a little bit. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna finish strong. We're gonna finish exciting. We're not worried right now. We're not shaking. We're ready to go. We're just taking a little while to get it going. 0-4. I've seen us. We've been there before. I've been there before. My first year, we was 2-5. We turned around and went 5-2 and finished 3rd in the league. So we're locked in, very much locked in. We're watching film, individual film. Kids are in the gym extra time. Everybody knows what's at stake, and they know who we are and what we're capable of doing down the stretch. We are that team. It's going to be tough to beat in the way you look at it.
Thank you, Coach. Stay safe and warm.
You too, brother. Up there in Minnesota.
It's bigger than cold up here.
Thanks so much for that, Charles. And thank you, Coach, for joining us today. We wish you nothing but the best of luck this coming Saturday. North Carolina Central at South Carolina State. Saturday, January 31st at 2 p.m. Tip-off. Game's going to be broadcast on ESPN+. Be safe, Coach, all right?
Thank you. Y'all too. Enjoy.
All right, we're going to Orangeburg now. I see Coach Baker there. Cedric Baker, how you doing, man?
How you doing? How you doing, Lynn? You got me?
I got you, man. Got you, man. Glad to see you joining us. We know you couldn't join us last show, but that's all right. We're glad to have you with us now. Hey, man, look, you have created some excitement in Orangeburg and around the MEAC already by what you've managed to do in year one with the Bulldogs. I mean, do you realize that you've already surpassed the total wins for the Bulldog program over the last two seasons combined? And you've just begun conference play at 2-3?
Uh, no, I didn't. I didn't know that stat, to be honest with you. But it's. I'm very excited to be here. Definitely a lot of excitement, a lot of energy around the program. It's been a joy just coaching this group of young women. Some of them is their last go round, so that's been my message to them. Lynn, is that they're never gonna play with this group of young ladies ever in life again. So that's what's really special about it. And let's give it all we got and take advantage of every moment.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what they're doing. But how difficult was it to make some of those programmatic changes? And what were some of the steps to get you this momentum?
Well, this day and time, of course, with the portal. And my tenure started, of course, June, July. So coming in, roster management was number one, so that we could come together and address group dynamics, just trying to, formalize a team. And, those young women who are committed or have committed to being here, that was the first thing, just managing the roster. Then, of course, normal stuff. You got to get inventory up and start working on travel. And, of course, recruiting never stops. So, but of course, anytime you're coming in and you're trying to put your stamp on the program, or let's say change culture, it's going to be some, confrontation and that sort of thing. But it's been good. It's been good. And everybody's moving in the right direction. And I always compliment, Coach Pugh and the president, and they set the tone, and that they support women's basketball here at South Carolina State University. And they want us to win, and they want us to be successful. So that helped my transition and helped the young ladies transition and buy in as well.
Okay. All right. Well, then you opened conference play.
Yes, sir.
By winning your road trip at Morgan and Coppin. I mean, and a loss to Howard to go 2-1 early, but you had to feel good about getting out the blocks kind of smooth, right?
Yes. We went through a little gauntlet, that non-conference schedule with Georgia and Ole Miss and Florida State. So getting into conference play, we're in that third quarter of the season before tournament play. So going on the road, I always tell players, you go on the road, it's going to be 6 points down when you go in. It's going to be about 3 calls not going to go your way. And just being able to navigate mentally and be mentally tough, doing those parts of the game. But it was a great trip to Baltimore, great trip to Coppin, as always, great trip to Morgan. And we were very excited to come away, with the win. I was glad to see, the program, share some success with their teammates, with the alumni that came out to support us. And I was pleased to share some success with this team that is under my tutelage at this time.
Yeah. Cool. And now last Saturday, let's talk about recent. Last Saturday, you dropped one at home to Norfolk State. I mean,
Yes,
slow shooting at home from the start seems to be, well, that was the deciding factor. South Carolina State dropped one at home to Norfolk State, 84-41. You had to flush that quickly. You know that. And then you lost another tough one at home to Dell State. Let's talk about that one. So you lost a home series to go to 2-3.
I really thought we was hitting our stride at the right time. First semester we went through your normal, your adversity, kids being away from home, and the injuries, deaths in the family, things of those. I call them meaningful distractions.
Okay.
So we went through that first semester, and when we came back from Coppin and Morgan, I thought we were hitting our stride at the right time, and we were still in Baltimore. Had one young lady, got MEAC Player of the Week, and We just didn't do a great job of being mentally tough. I think our emotions was too high, Lynn, and then Dell State, a great team, well coached team, gave us different looks defensively, and it just didn't go through the basket for us. And then we had a couple kids out, key kids out that particular game. Amaya Harris, our lead scorer, wasn't available. Leading rebounder for Leah Greer wasn't available. So again, we were storming again. When you're talking about group dynamics, we're storming again. So now we have those kids back. We've hit the reset button, and I'm prayerful that we'll have a better look come this weekend.
Okay, well, coming this weekend.
Yes, sir.
You got the Eagles of North Carolina Central hitting town, hungry to break into the win column. You heard Coach Baxter earlier, played a tough game against Howard, came up, had a shot to win it, but giving all credit to Howard, he said they just didn't deliver in crunch time and lose it by a couple of buckets at home. They're seeking their first win, as I mentioned. What is it going to take for the Bulldogs to hit their stride, to be mentally tough enough to end the 2-game losing streak at home and to get this win to go 500 in conference play?
Well, North Carolina Central, very, very good basketball team, well-coached basketball team. But for us, self-discipline. We got to control what we can. That we can't worry about it. Of course, we play a little small ball in, so rebounding is always key. We definitely want to try to encourage our guards to rebound from their position. And of course, our post players are closer, to the interior of the game. And of course, we normally get rebounds from them, but rebounding from a guard perspective is going to be very important. And then taking care of the basketball. We got to value the basketball every possession. Know your number, stay there, pay attention to details. And then I look for us to get to the foul line, win the foul line battle. And that lets me know our offense is working. We're not selling for, to be a jump shooting team. So I want to dominate those 3 categories. And I think if we do that, we can be victorious.
Okay. All right, Coach. Well, let's go to the media now. Charles Hallman from the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder has a question or two for you. Shoot, Charles. Go ahead.
Hey,
Good morning.
Charles.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Being a first-year coach at South Carolina State, I'm assuming that and you talked about that, there's things you had to get done right away. Some things you could take a little bit of time to get going. What has been the easiest part of your job up to this point, and what has been the hardest part of your job at this point in terms of setting your tone and the way you want things done in your program?
Let me start with the hardest part first. The hardest part is getting the players to understand that, I work for them. They don't work for me. And letting them understand I'm here to put them in the best position to be successful, be it on the court or off the court. So a lot of times, they get that twisted. So, of course, I want them to be coachable. Want them to make themselves available, every day. And, what they did good, yesterday, we want to continue to do that. The areas in which they might have had a challenge, if it was a rough test or a rough quiz or home life, that sort of thing, use me as a resource to help them navigate through this thing we call college life and campus life. So that has been the biggest challenge, just getting them to understand that I'm here to work for them. I have their best interests, and just want to put them in the best position to be successful, be it academically or athletically. The easiest thing, it's basketball. When they get going up and down, I love teaching the game. I'm an educator, taught math, middle school, high school. So it's easy for me to just, teach the game. I love teaching the game. I study the game. I pride myself on preparation. So that has been the easiest, just making that presentation offensively, defensively, communication wise. That has been the easiest part.
My follow-up question is, I write about Black coaches and their, being recognized and being what they need to be done. What was your biggest influence for you to be a coach? And do you feel that when I talk about Black coaches, is that being overemphasized, being underestimated, or should we move beyond talking about exceptions and being the rule, so to speak?
Let me try to answer your question the best way I can. You said what influenced me to be a coach?
Correct.
I would say it starts in the community. In my community, of course, the lifeguards, at my community pool, they were coaches. They would pull us to a side, show us X's and O's, even with pebbles on the ground. And that's where the influence started at. In my church, I had James Lowe, he was Bethune-Cookman graduate, encouraged me, get an education, get into coaching. My high school coach, he worked at South Carolina State. So those young men in my community, they just always promoted, education, and basketball and sports, was just a tool to help us, a tool to use to get educated and, build your network. But I must say, it was African-American coaches in the community I grew up in, and also non-African-American. So I think at the end of the day, this thing we call sport has done just a great job of just, bringing all races and people together. That's what basically influenced me to get into coaching. And I say getting on the women's side, basically that was just within my family. In my community, sports wasn't available to my sister coming up. So she had to play co-ed sports with us. So once I got the opportunity to coach, women's sport, I just said, hey, I'm gonna just give it my all, give it 110%, just to level the playing field. So I prepare them just as if I'm coaching NBA or WNBA. They deserve the best.
Thank you, Coach, for your time, and good luck this rest of the season.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you, Charles. Rob Knox, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Sid? How are you?
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
I'm good, man.
Good.
Real quick, I know a couple weeks ago we talked about Charnice and obviously Amaya. I wanted to ask about another young lady. I mean, obviously stat wise, obviously she's not necessarily putting up stats, and I know she's been like limited games for you, but you had a young lady come with you from Savannah State. I apologize, I missed her name. Jasila, yeah. Help me out, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
I was impressed with her when I saw you guys at Coppin. What did she bring to your program, and when you had it at Savannah, in what ways has she grown for you that maybe people don't necessarily see?
Well, let me just say this first and foremost. She's only been with us like three or four games. This young lady had major hip surgery that you think you would have, 60, 70 years of age. So she had major hip surgery, and she had to, of course, be sidelined for a whole year. We just got her back on the floor. She's probably in game 4 back in. So just her, tenacity, being able to navigate through adversity, being able to be mentally tough, and, rehab is tough, on a young person. And at the same time, she hasn't shied away, from her academics and going to class. But having her now as an active participant on the roster, she brings added size, added depth to the South Carolina State women's basketball roster. She can get out and run. And not only that, she's capable of scoring the basketball. She's a 3-level scorer. She can score it around the basket. She can, hit the elbow shot, and she has pretty good ball handling skills to be at 6'2", 6'3". So just happy to have her join us now as an active participant, and she's just really brought us added depth and added size to our offensive and defensive package.
And when you had her at Savannah, what was some of the intangibles that made her stand out or helped her develop to the point where obviously you consider her a key piece that once you got the job at South Carolina State and she went into the portal that you would continue to have that relationship with her?
I think a lot of times, the difference in two levels is your work ethic. And I thought she definitely brought the work ethic where she can compete, at the Division I level within the MEAC Conference. She, has the skill set, but also she has the balance. She can navigate academically and navigate athletically. So, I was in 100% support of her, willing to, join us here at South Carolina State. And I thought she would be a young lady that would come to South Carolina State, embrace the brand, and want to make a difference. And that's why I'm here. I want to make a difference. I want to, be competitive, non-conference. I want to be competitive in the MEAC and make a difference and continue to compete like all the other coaches in our league.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Rob. And Coach, thank you for joining us this morning. We'll let you get back to game planning and getting your practices. How's the weather in Orangeburg?
It's been cool, but we've been able to get back and forth to work. That's been a blessing, and it's been a blessing in disguise because we definitely needed this time, like I said, to regroup and address some injuries. So hey, it's what I call hard luck.
I get it, Coach. Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck as you host North Carolina Central this coming Saturday. That's the 31st, 2 p.m. tip-off on ESPN Plus. We'll see you again next time we get together, Coach, for the video conference. We're going to turn our attention now to Coach Jazmone Turner. I see Coach Turner in Dover. How are you doing, Coach? You had to dig yourself out of snow, didn't you?
A little bit of that and some other meetings that ran over this morning. But how are you doing?
Glad to see you. Good. We're doing good here, Coach. Normally we get you at the front end, so we just put you at the back end of the show. You're gonna wrap things up for us today. How's that? Okay.
All right.
Look. Last time we talked. Let's go back in time to the 17th in Dover. A heart-wrenching moment in time. Dell State battles back, only to lose on the buzzer as Kayla Nash hits the buzzer beater as time expires, and you lose it 61-59 to Boise State. But you battle back, Coach. Take us back in time to that ball game.
Yeah, it's the second time in league we've lost by 2 points and a game that close. Sometimes I think I blame myself. Should have did this, should have did that. Strategy. But we know it always doesn't come down to the last moment of the game when you drop 2 games in the league like that. But there's some things that I'm looking at that I'm doing at the end of the game to adjust. But at the same time, talking to our players about consistency once again. That's just been the constant thing that I've been talking to them about. And we showed moments late in the third and throughout the fourth quarter who we can be and who we are. But it has to be consistent. So, we're just talking about what we can do better quarter to quarter when we have moments where we dip because we go into scoring droughts at times. So when we have those moments, what can we do? What are we going to do better? And how do we get ourselves out that moment? But, we're doing all right. They're figuring it out a little bit, and I'm proud of them overall.
All right, we talked about the team. Let's talk about individuals now. Erica Huggins, she led the Hornets. Then they 28 points, 7 boards, 2 blocks. Jamisa Frierson, 7 points, 7 boards, 6 assists. Caitlin Adams, 6 points, 2 steals from the bench. Pretty good performances. Something to build on too, right?
Right. Yeah. We have kids that we can go pretty deep in our bench, and I think it's all about game plan. Who can do what and what we think they can do in that game, and what matchups are best on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So we try to look at our matchups and see, where we could play some of our players a little bit more minutes or maybe change the starting lineup. Just depends on the game plan. I think Caitlin Adams, though, is showing who we think she could be. She started out playing early for us in the season. Just had some moments where she's trying to figure out her flow and things like that and catch her rhythm. And I think she's there now. So we'll see a little bit more of her. Erica Huggins, as a sophomore in this league, I tell her, you're no longer a sophomore, you're a junior. You've been in this league for 2 years now. So you've arrived, and we need you to be consistent every game. And she's taken that in, and she has ran with it. She's stepping up as a leader as well. And then Jamisha Frierson, she's doing well. She's finding her flow and her rhythm. And I'm just proud of them and how strong they are mentally. I have some really tough kids. And for them to, play at this juncture in the season, like we're at the top of the season, I'm really proud of them.
Okay. Well, some of the coaches are talking about the great ball movement that your team has now. I guess they're moving that ball extremely well, but also talked about defense. I mean, against Morgan State, the Hornets forced 18 turnovers. And they turned those, you converted those turnovers into 15 points. That's what you want to see, productivity from your defense, turning that into points, right?
Yeah. So we work on defense every day, as I'm sure all coaches do. But one of the things my players know, if you can't rebound, you can't defend, you're not getting on the floor. And so they work their butts off every day to be in the right rotation, and we run multiple defenses. So they're really locked into what we need to do. And I tell them, it's not going to only win us games, it's going to keep us in games when we are in those scoring droughts, So defense is our thing. That's our identity. We want to play hard defense, strong defense, and we want to rebound the ball. So one of the things I tell them, defend, rebound, run the floor, and then execute. And they're doing that really, really well right now. And offensively, we can't score in practice without 2 paint touches and without a kick out. And so I think that's starting to show a little bit in our style of play. So not trying to be a one-sided team and done, shooting early in the shot clock. But that defense is leading to some transition points for us that we've needed over the last few games.
I remember I had an old coach that told me the first thing you pack for a road trip is your defense. And it's obviously that's what you took on your last road trip to South Carolina State. You did it, 67-47. The Dell State defense held South Carolina State shooters to just 34.9% from the field. The Bulldogs didn't get many second opportunities from the offensive end. They grabbed only 6 offensive rebounds and scored no second chance points, while Dell State had 23 defensive rebounds. That's some good work, Coach.
Yeah, like I said, it's just something that we've preached, and we got to do this now consistently over these next few games. One and done. We want to defend and we want to rebound. Teams we want to be one and done. And we do take our defense on the road. I always tell them we got to be 10 points better on the road. You don't have a crowd often. Some of your parents might show up, or family members in the area, but it's still not, you're not beating out that South Carolina State band or any other band that we're on the road with, just a couple of your family members. So we got to come out and defend, limit them to second chance opportunities, and then just, be in the right rotation. Another thing that we did, I think we subbed well. We know we wanted to get out and defend and play, full court pressure defense. And we kept our players rested pretty well that game as well. So, we just want to keep with that and keep getting on those boards, limiting teams, second chance opportunities. Because a lot of times that's what's hurting us in some of these losses that we're taking. We're giving up, 12, 15 points in second chance points. And then with their 3-point shooting ability, they do shoot the ball really well, and they have, throughout the conference and even before the conference. And we told our team on the scout report was, we got to defend the 3, and we wanted them to shoot below 20%. I don't remember what the percentage was, but the young ladies did a really good job at, defending the 3-point line, running them off the 3-point line, making them put the ball on the floor.
Well, the other half of that road trip got canceled because of the storm, but you got a huge storm coming this Saturday at 2:00. You got the league leading Hawks of UMES headed in, Coach, and but now you got some momentum leading into this one, though. Let's talk about that ball game.
Yeah, they're really fired up, and I think they just had to, see themselves actually do it. Now that they've done it, the energy is high. you know, the motivation is there even more. We didn't lose it any. We just had to figure it out. And Maryland Eastern Shore is a really good team. They're a team that defends really well. That's going to pressure you in the full court, and they do a phenomenal job with rebounding. And so that's going to be a point of emphasis every day in practice. I mean, I think they're in double figures on offensive rebounds. So we got to work really hard on that glass, limited second chance opportunities, but we also got to get on the offensive glass as well. I think that's going to be a really huge stat to watch in that game. The other thing that we need to do is we need to manage Ashanti Lynch and Perry, who's a really good freshman. You know, that's having a good season. So I think if we can manage some of their key players, you know, and not get frazzled by their defense, I think we'll be in a good position.
Okay. Hold on. We got a couple of questions from Rob Knox for you before we let you go. Rob.
Okay.
Jazz, first and foremost, congrats on the win at South Carolina State. I felt your relief once it became official, because I know you all been grinding and working hard. And just want to ask you, how much of a relief was it to see Nikisha have a game like she had on against South Carolina State, 17 points, 5 threes.
Yeah, as a grad, we've asked her to step up. Obviously losing our leading scorer, so we need a couple players to step up and fill up the basket for us. And so we've asked her to do that, and she's finally finding her rhythm and flow. One of the things, Keisha's a facilitator. She's a true point guard. She's gonna get everybody involved, and then if she roll around to 5-7 points, then it happens. And so I think she's just been trying to figure that out. She's done a really good job getting to her spotting up. And that goes back to our paint touches and kickouts. She's been in a position where we can find her, kick it out to her, and she can shoot set threes. Over her career, she hasn't been a 3-point shooter, but we've built the confidence in her to shoot the ball. And so she's shooting the ball well. We work on it every day in practice with all of our players. And I'm proud of her and the role that she's stepped up to for us this season.
And then, secondly, I want to ask you about Erica, and I just want to say to you, I appreciate you having Erica speak with me after the Morgan game. I know how challenging the ending of that game was, but that fourth quarter of Erica, where she just dominated and just kind of took to another level, is that the type of what you've been wanting to see from her all season? And that Erica knows that she has that next level gear to push herself from being good to elite.
Yeah, Erica has it. She could be a phenomenal player in this league, at this institution, being a Delawarean. Erica can do it. We believe in her every step of the way. Erica just has to get Erica out the way sometimes. And I think she's doing that. One of the things she comes in and says to me every day is, "I'm working on myself, coach. I'm working on myself, coach." And she has, and it's showing in her play on both sides of the floor. And she wants it. She wants to win. After we won that game on Thursday, she came up to me and she was crying and gave me a hug and was like, "We're going to get this done." So just a passionate kid, a caring kid, very good kid. And I'm very excited to see where her career goes.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Rob. And thank you, Coach, for joining us today. I know the weather is wreaking havoc up your neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, we know you got to get back in and chop that wood and get ready for the Hawks of UMES coming Saturday, the 31st, Alumni Hall, Bay Health Court, 2 p.m. tip-off on ESPN+. We wish you nothing but the best as the Hornets seek to win another one in their trek to get to the top of the heap in the MEAC. Take care, Coach.
Thank you. Likewise.
No problem. And that wraps up for all of you another week here on the MEAC Biweekly Women's Basketball Media Conference presented by our great partners at TowneBank. Before we do let you go, we want to say a sincere thank you to all of the coaches, the media members, the staff who made today's video conference a huge success in spite of the challenges and the logistical challenges that we met. The MEAC also extends an appreciation to all of our corporate partners for their continued support of the conference and our Elite 8 member institutions. So just a reminder, the next MEAC Biweekly Women's Basketball Video Conference is set for Monday, February 9th at 10 a.m. For more information on MEAC basketball, football, all MEAC sponsored sports, visit MEACsports.com. Follow the MEAC on social media at MEAC Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Hey, y'all, thanks for joining us and tuning in for the MEAC bi-weekly Women's Basketball Coaches Video Conference. Enjoy a great week of hoops. Y'all stay warm, stay safe. Peace.